They're focused for that. Now, they're going to take care of Moab and Midian before they enter into the promised land. But the focus is back here on reward, on receiving the promise. The punishment, the judgment is done. For Israel, but the judgment has not fallen yet upon Moab and Midian, except for one person, the daughter of the king. All right? But 24,000 Israelites, and it would have been more if Pinchas had not come through. So we're going to see reward immediately. We're going to see an acknowledgement that what Pinchas did, as opposed to common ways of thinking, was a very righteous, just judgment by God upon the treachery and the heinous sin of the idolatry of Baal Peor. All right. We begin with Bamidbar, Numbers 25, verse 10. Adonai said to Moshe, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the Kohen, has deflected my anger from the people of Israel by being as zealous as I am, so that I didn't destroy them with my own zeal. Therefore, say, I am giving him my covenant of shalom, making a covenant with him and his descendants after him, that the office of Kohen will be theirs forever. This is because he was zealous on behalf of his God and made atonement for the people of Israel. The name of the man from Israel who was killed, put to death with the woman from Midian, was Zimri, the son of Shalu, leader of one of the clans from the tribe of Shimon. The name of the woman from Midian who was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur, and he was head of the people in one of the clans of Midian. Adonai said to Moshe, treat the Midianim as enemies and attack them, because they are treating you as enemies by the trickery they used to deceive you in the Peor incident and in the affair of their sister, Cosbi, the daughter of the leader from Midian, the woman who was killed on the day of the plague in the Peor incident. After the plague, Adonai said to Moshe and Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the Kohen, take a census of the entire assembly of the people of Israel, 20 years old and over, by their ancestral clans, all who are subject to military service in Israel. Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen spoke with them on the plains of Moab, by the Jordan, across from Jericho, explaining, those 20 years old and over who came out of the land of Egypt, as Adonai ordered Moshe and the people of Israel. The census results begin with Reuben, the firstborn of Israel. The descendants of Reuben were of Hanok, the family of the Hanoki, of Palu, the family of the Palui, of Hetzron, the family of the Hetzroni, and Carmi, the family of the Carmi. These were the families of the Rovuni, of which were counted 43,730. The sons of Palu, Eliav, and the sons of Eliav, Nemuel, Datan, and Aviram. These are the same Datan and Aviram, men of reputation in the community, who rebelled against Moshe and Aaron in Korach's group when they rebelled against Adonai. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up together with Korach when the group died. And the fire consumed 250 men, and they became a warning sign. However, the sons of Korach did not die. The descendants of Shimon by their families were of Nemuel, the family of the Nehumeli, of Yamin, the family of the Yamini, of Yakin, the family of the Yakini, of Zerach, the family of the Zarki, and of Shaul, the family of the Shauli. These were the families of Shimoni, 22,200. The descendants of Gad by their families were of Zephon, the family of the Sophoni, of Hagi, the family of Hagi, of Shuni, the family of Shuni, of Ozni, the family of the Ozni, of Eri, the family of the Eri, of Arod, the family of the Arodi, and of Arieli, and the family of Areli, the family of the Areli. These were the families of the sons of Gad. According to those counted of them, 40,500. The sons of Yehuda, first, and Onan. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Yehuda, who had descendants, were of Shelah, the family of the Shalani, of Peretz, the family of the Partzi, and of Zerach, the family of the Zarki. The sons of Peretz were of Hetzron, the family of the Hetzroni, and of Hamul, the family of the Hamuli. These were the families of Yehuda. According to those counted of them, 76,500. The descendants of Yishakar by their families were of Tola, the family of the Tolai, of Puva, the family of the Puni, of Yeshuv, the family of the Yashuvi, and of Zimron, the family of the Shimroni. These were the families of Yishakar. According to those counted of them, 64,300. The descendants of Zebulun by their families were of Zered, the family of the Sardi, of Elon, the family of the Eloni, and of Yakleel, the family of the Yakleeli. These were the families of Zebuloni, according to those counted of them, 60,500. The sons of Joseph by their families were Manasseh and Ephraim. The descendants of Manasseh were of Machir, the family of the Machiri. Machir was the father of Gilad, the family of the Galadi. These are the descendants of Gilad, of Eizar, the family of Eizari, of Helek, the family of Helki, of Ashriel, the family of the Ashreli, of Shechem, the family of Shechemi, of Shemida, the family of the Shemidai, and of Hefer, the family of the Hephri. Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, had no sons, but he did have daughters. The names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Machlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These were the families of Manasseh. Of them were counted 52,700. These are the descendants of Ephraim by their families, of Shatulach, the family of the Shatulachi, of Becher, the family of the Bacheri, and of Takan, the family of the Takani. These are the descendants of Shutalach, of Aran, the family of the Arani. These were the families of the descendants of Ephraim, according to those of them that were counted, 32,500. These were the descendants of Joseph by their families. The descendants of Benjamin by their families were of Bela, the family of the Bali, of Eshbel, the family of the Eshbeli, of Akiram, the family of the Akarami, of Shufufam, the family of the Shufafami, and of Hafam, the family of the Hafami. The sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman of Ard, the family of the Ardi, and of Naaman, the family of the Naami. These were the descendants of Benjamin by their families, and of them were counted 45,600. The descendants of Dan by their families were of Shukam, the family of the Shukami. These are the families of Dan by their families, all the families of the Shukami, according to those of them that were counted, were 64,400. The descendants of Asher by their families of Yimnah, the family of the Yimnah of Yishvi, the family of the Yishvi, and of Beriah, the family of the Berai. Of the descendants of Beriah of Hever, the family of the Hevri. And of Malkiel, the family of the Machieli. The name of Asher's daughter was Serach. These were the families of the descendants of Asher, according to those of them that were counted, 53,400. The descendants of Naphtali by their families, of Yakzeel, the families of the Yakzeeli, of Guni, the family of the Guni, of Yetzer, the family of the Yitzri, and of Shilem, the family of the Shilemi. These are the families of Naphtali, according to their families. Those of them that were counted were 45,400. Thus, those who were counted of the people of Israel numbered 601,730. Adonai said to Moshe, the land is to be parceled out among these as a possession to be inherited according to the number of names. To those families with more persons, you are to give a greater inheritance, and those with fewer, you are to give a smaller inheritance. Each family's inheritance is to be given according to the number counted in it. However, the land is to be awarded by lot. They will inherit according to the names of the tribes of their ancestors. But the inheritance is to be parceled out by lot between the families with more and those with fewer. Those counted among the Levi by their families were of Gershon, the family of the Gershuni, of Chat, the family of the Chati, and Merari, the family of the Merari. These are the families of Levi, the family of the Levini, the family of the Hevroni, the family of the Machli, the family of the Mushi, and the family of the Korki. Chat was the father of Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Yocheved, the daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt. And she bore to Amram, Aaron, Moshe, and their sister Miriam. To Aaron were born Nadav, Avihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. But Nadav and Avihu died when they offered unauthorized fire before Adonai. Those males 1 month old or more, counted of the Levi, were 23,000. These were not included in the census of the people of Israel because no land for inheritance was given to them among the people of Israel. These are the ones counted by Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen, who took a census of the people of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho. But there was not a man among them who had also been included in the census of Moshe and Aaron the Kohen, when they enumerated the people of Israel in the Sinai desert. Because Adonai had said of them, they will surely die in the desert. So there was not left even one of them, except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Yehoshua, the son of Nun. Chapter 27. Then the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilad, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, approached. These were the names of his daughters: Machlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood in front of Moshe, Eleazar the Kohen, They stood in front of Moshe, Eleazar the Kohen, the leaders of the whole community, at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and said, "Our father died in the desert. He wasn't part of the group who assembled themselves to rebel against Adonai in Korach's group. But he died in his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be eliminated from his family just because he didn't have a son? Give us property to possess along with the brothers of our father." Moshe brought their cause before Adonai. Adonai answered Moshe, "The daughters of Zelophehad are right in what they say. You must give them property to be inherited along with that of their father's brothers. Have what their fathers would have inherited passed to them. Moreover, say to the people of Israel, if a man dies and does not have a son, you are to have his inheritance passed to his daughter. If he doesn't have a daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. If his father doesn't have brothers, give his inheritance to the closest relative in his family, and he will possess it. This will be the standard for judgment to be used by the people of Israel, as Adonai ordered Moshe." Adonai said to Moshe, "Climb this mountain in the..." Adonai said to Moshe, "Climb this mountain in the Avarim range, and look out at the land which I have given the people of Israel. After you have seen it, you too will be gathered to your people, just as Aaron your brother was gathered. Because in the Zin desert, when the community was disputing with me, you rebelled against my order to uphold my holiness by means of the water, with them looking on. This was the Miravat Kadesh spring in the Zin desert. Moshe said to Adonai, let Adonai, God of the spirits of all human beings, appoint a man to be over the community, to go out and come in ahead of them, to lead them out and bring them in, so that Adonai's community will not be like sheep without a shepherd. Adonai said to Moshe, take Yehoshua, the son of Nun, a spiritual man, and lay your hand on him. Put him in front of Eleazar the Kohen and the whole community, and commission him in their sight. Delegate to him some of your authority, so that the entire community of Yisrael will obey him. He is to present himself to Eleazar the Kohen, who is to find out by means of the Urim what Adonai's will is for Yehoshua's decisions. Then, at his word, they will go out, and at his word, they will come in, both he and all the people of Israel with him, the whole community. Moshe did as Adonai had ordered him. He took Yehoshua, put him before Eleazar the Kohen and the whole community, laid his hands on him, and commissioned him as Adonai had said through Moshe. Chapter 28. Adonai said to Moshe, give an order to the people of Israel. Tell them, you are to take care to offer me at the proper time the food presented to me as offerings made by fire, providing a fragrant aroma for me. Tell them, this is the offering made by fire that you are to bring to Adonai, male lambs in their first year and without defect. 2 daily as a regular burnt offering. Offer the one lamb in the morning and the other lamb at dusk, along with 2 quarts of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with 1 quart of oil from pressed olives. It is the regular burnt offering, the same as was offered on Mount Sinai, to give a fragrant aroma, an offering made by fire for Adonai. Its drink offering is to be 1/4 hin for 1 lamb. In the holy place, you are to pour out a drink offering of intoxicating liquor to Adonai. The other lamb you are to present at dusk. Present it with the same kind of grain offering and drink offering as in the morning. It is an offering made by fire with a fragrant aroma for Adonai. On Shabbat, offer 2 male lambs in their first year and without defect, with 1 gallon of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with olive oil, and its drink offering. This is the burnt offering for every Shabbat, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. At each Rosh Chodesh of yours, you are to present a burnt offering to Adonai, consisting of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year, and without defect, with 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for each bull, 4 quarts of fine flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for the 1 ram, and 2 quarts of fine flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for each lamb. This will be the burnt offering, giving a fragrant aroma, an offering made by fire for Adonai. Their drink offerings will be 2 quarts of wine for a bull, 1 1/3 quarts for the ram, and 1 quart for each lamb. This is the burnt offering for every Rosh Chodesh throughout the months of the year. Also, a male goat is to be offered as a sin offering to Adonai. in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, is Adonai's Pesach. On the 15th day of the month is to be a feast. Matzah is to be eaten for 7 days. The first day is to be a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work, but present an offering made by fire, a burnt offering to Adonai, consisting of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year. They are to be without defect for you, with their grain offering, fine flour mixed with olive oil. Offer 6 quarts for a bull, 4 quarts for the ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. Also a male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. You are to offer these in addition to the morning burnt offering, which is the regular burnt offering. In this fashion, you are to offer daily for 7 days the food of the offering made by fire, making a fragrant aroma for Adonai. It is to be offered in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. On the 7th day, you are to have a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. On the day of the first fruits, when you bring a new grain offering to Adonai in your feast of Shavuot, you are to have a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work, but present a burnt offering as a fragrant aroma for Adonai, consisting of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs in their first year, and their grain offering. Fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for each bull, 4 quarts for the 1 ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs, plus a male goat to make atonement for you. You are to offer these in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering. They are to be without defect for you, with their drink offerings. Chapter 29. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you are to have a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. It is a day of blowing the shofar for you. Prepare a burnt offering to make a fragrant aroma for Adonai. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year and without defect, with their grain offering, consisting of fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for the bull, 4 quarts for the ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. This is to be in addition to the burnt offering of Rosh Chodesh with its grain offering. The regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings, according to the rule for them. This will be a fragrant aroma, an offering made by fire to Adonai. On the 10th day of the 7th month, you are to have a holy convocation. You are to deny yourselves, and you are not to do any kind of work, but you are to present a burnt offering to Adonai to make a fragrant aroma, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year. They are to be without defect for you, with their grain offering, fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for the bull, 4 quarts for the 1 ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering for atonement and the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings. On the 15th day of the 7th month, you are to have a holy convocation. You are not to do any kind of ordinary work, and you are to observe a feast to Adonai 7 days. You are to present a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, bringing a fragrant aroma to Adonai. It is to consist of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year, They are to be without defect. With their grain offering, fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for each of the 13 bulls, 4 quarts for each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts for each of the 14 lambs. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offerings with its grain and drink offerings. On the second day, you are to present 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and their drink offerings. On the third day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the fourth day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in the first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the fifth day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the sixth day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the seventh day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offerings. On the 8th day, you are to have a festive assembly. You are not to do any kind of ordinary work, but you are to present a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, giving a fragrant aroma to Adonai. 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs in the first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bull, the ram, and the lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. You are to offer these to Adonai at your designated times, in addition to your vows and voluntary offerings, whether these are your burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, or peace offerings. Chapter 30. Moshe told the people of Israel everything, just as Adonai had ordered Moshe. Now, I hope that was a very uplifting and spiritual experience for you. Now, I know that, and I could tell by some laughter, that I did not say that, incidentally, with any sarcasm whatsoever. But I knew that that would be the result, because you know what? To some extent, I know your heart, at least some of you. We reveal it. We're not used to this. This litany does not appear to be a religious litany. We've heard religious litanies and worship services. We've heard the reading of scriptures and songs that are sung that uplift us. And guess what? We're all wet. Until this has an even stronger effect on our heart. Because what this is, what you just read, is the process by which human beings are permitted to draw near to the presence of God. Now, you might say, yeah, but we have Yeshua. Oh, we don't need all of that. And you know what? You are right in line with replacement theology. We have a dilemma. We have to wrestle with this. Because the Apostle Paul, in fact, all the apostles, not just Paul, still worshiped in the temple for decades. I'm telling you, decades after Pentecost. Even the Apostle Paul, in his later years of writing, many decades, who had been a persecutor of the congregation, the kingdom of God. Even he said he was still a Pharisee. Oh, that hated term, Pharisee, which many of us were raised to think that is synonymous with hypocrisy. That is synonymous with those who turn against God, who would hold the law, but not the heart. But what we find in Scripture is God says, yes, that's not right. That is wrong as can be. But I want both. I want you to keep the Torah with your whole heart. I want the Torah written upon your heart. What we have here is a litany of how to draw near to God. And this came here. This whole section here, which Tony Robbins would say, hey, they just talked about we're going to war, here's the census, and now we're ready for action. We're ready to go take out those Midians, take out those Moabs. Victory for our Lord. They're our enemy. They deceived us. They caused us to fall into harlotry, to turn from our God, just like our ancestors did when they made that golden calf. And we prostrated ourselves before Baal Peor. And so, we're ready for the fight now. Okay. Here's what we have, a reiteration. Much of this we already have covered before, we've seen it. But it's a reaffirmation. It's a reaffirmation of the covenant. Of how to draw near to God. After all that litany of the sacrifices, the drawing near, there was always that, and one male goat as a sin offering. It was always there. It's kind of like, okay. So reminding us of what it means. That this is not what we expected. The 24,000 that died of the plague. Some have said that all the remnant that were still living from that first census of Moses and Aaron were swept away during that plague. If they were, any of them still alive or not. That there was no turning back, no turning back. So this is kind of like when God renewed his covenant with Israel after the sin of the golden calf. That was a renewed covenant. That was a new covenant. Just as much as the new covenant was renewed when the Messiah came as a suffering servant. So, we have some wrestling to do, I think, in our hearts, in our mind, with the text. So I hope that this is helpful for you to think about, that this is not a digression, you know. And so as we read this, and there's a sense of these are the holy convocations. These are a reiteration of the biblical festivals that we seek to embrace here at Messiah New Life Tabernacle. Most Christian churches do not. In fact, most do not even have a clue about them. So in a very large sense, we seek to be a bridge-building congregation to help many people who have a love for Yeshua and for God, but have cut themselves off. They have cut themselves off from the Torah. They've cut themselves off from the Jewish people, from the nation in which we are grafted into. Grafted into. So we have a lot of adjustment to make, and it's certainly not easy. We've been trying to make progress through that and finding, how does this all fit together? God, how does this all fit together? You know, for many, many, many centuries, Christian theology went its way, Jewish theology went its way, and they never connected, never crossed. But now, we could very well be, I'm sure many of you believe we are, that we could be either in or on the cuspice of the last generation. It could be. I don't know God's timing. He can take a lot of things that we see as, wow, that's a pretty clear sign. Yeah, but there's so much involved. I'm not even sure when I think about it, exactly how this is all going to, how God is going to work this all out. But even in this text here, we can see that God has not given up. If he did not abandon his people after the golden calf incident, and after the harlotry of the Baal Peor, and then time and time again, as his people who fall away, and he would bring them back. And even the destruction of the temple to get their attention. Not once, but twice. On the same day of the year. And that's coming up this month, later this month, the 9th of Av, 27th of July. A 25-hour fast for the Jews who take that message to heart as they remember. And I think that's a place for us to begin. Just a place to begin. Is that as we understand and recognize that we are grafted in, and yes, we don't have all the answers here, but I think one of the answers in is this, that we need to identify ourselves with the land of Israel and with the people of Israel. that we need to claim God's promises because he says things are eternal, forever. And he says that those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. And I'll just conclude with this. The only hope of our nation is that we be a blessing to Israel. Shabbat Shalom.